But there's a couple of things. This is something I have never worn.
Very clearly 2D.
And as I was leaving the house, Sarah said, "Are you really going out in public with that?" And I said, well, "Yeah, why wouldn't I?" And here we go. So I was actually shocked it took you this long to notice, but this is twofold. Yes, it's the new shirt. It's the new shirt, and so it fits with what I'm doing with E. And the other part is time to grow up. Time to grow up. I think you can put it for everybody. So there's a method to it, too, because the Wisconsin Badgers, time to grow up, and Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, that was an immature loss yesterday. Very immature. And I heard, Damian Woody and everybody else on Get Up when there wasn't storm sirens going off, that this team was immature because they didn't handle their business. They thought that, hey, we just dominated two teams, and we're crowned. And you find out quick in this league, there's a humility that comes with playing in this league. You're going to get run over. You're going to make mistakes. And there's a bunch of pros that are ready to pounce. There ain't anything given. You got to go earn everything. And yesterday they thought that they were crowned and they were given the right to win a football game, and they didn't go out and earn it, and somebody snapped it away from them. So the shirt's threefold.
Okay, and just to be clear, we're being told that we need to grow up by a person wearing a T-shirt that has a giant pendant,
ironic,
iron-on logo on it.
I don't know if it's ironed on. I don't know how that's all.
It looks screen printed.
I'm not a screen print guy. There's other people that could tell you about that. But
Tauscher is screen printed chain. Yeah.
Well, you both look great. We're excited for you guys to be out there at TPC Wisconsin. You did leave and come back, I know, because I saw Jesse doing the Saturday pregame show for the Badgers game, which did not go well. I heard Tausch on the call. He and the officials were getting their steps in when marching off penalty yardage.
That was something I had never seen.
It was
offsetting 15-yard penalties, and they're trouncing back and forth. And I look at LePay, and I'm like, why the hell would they do that? Like, what are they doing? And then they call. It was some of the goofiest stuff. And trust me, no way, shape, or form am I saying officiating had anything to do with what we saw Saturday. That is not what I'm saying.
Nope.
But we literally drill a punt return guy. Nobody blocked him into him.
It was crazy.
And all of a sudden they're trying to say it's our ball, and we're up there like,
really?
We'll take it, but how did you see that? Yes. And then we're sitting there, and you don't want a ton of dead air. Like, there's times you let a moment breathe.
Sure.
And then there's times where the ref is supposed to be talking, and I'm like, Matt's explaining it, and I'm like, is he going to go, or what are we doing here? Like, this wasn't like a review. He's just sitting there like, so, again, it was just a goofily officiated game. And, yeah, I don't know if you could have can I say the S word on air?
No.
That's how it was, though. It was that weekend. It was a blank and blank weekend for any of us that love football in the state of Wisconsin. It just was a blank and blank weekend. What is that?
That's a bleep.
That was the beep.
If you wanted it,
I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how you
like a
time
phone
that
call.
up. So, yes,
real tricky.
Your call waiting. It's Eleanor on mine too.
My phone. This isn't. I'm not on my comm rack. So no, I don't. Anyways, just a blanking weekend, and sometimes just like Frankie Winters used to always say, put it in the bag and move on. That's in essence what we're going to try to do.
So, let's start here. Since Eleanor came up with the shirt policy, and I hope that my I died of dysentery shirt makes it into the rotation.
Ewing oils in there. Yeah, there's some good stuff coming.
But let's use another line from Eleanor, who is really carrying the show for us today. I know she's in school, but she'll listen later, but not on Spotify.
Yeah, no, she's not happy about Spotify either.
Her
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, Jim, Matt, Molly. That's all over. That's
we
rolling.
Understand all the.
She's
other
like, oh, we
shows
love Jim,
there.
Matt, and Molly on Spotify. Where's Wilde Tausch? That's exactly what she said. So I don't know. You can take that for what it's worth.
I think you're more irritated about Spotify than the Packers loss.
I'm probably coping.
Pretty close.
This is what we call coping.
Uh-huh.
All right, continue, Jason.
All right. Well, Elizabeth, Kevin, Kugler, Ross. Let me just quote Eleanor, and then we'll start taking calls right away because I think that's probably something that makes sense given the reaction. But I have my own frustration. Maddie Hayes, who is our phenomenal social media queen in Milwaukee, I was in a debate with Homer on Green Bay game night. And now I had people coming after me left and right for the clip that we posted. So, again, I understand people are frustrated.
What was the clip that
basically,
you posted?
I said that Jordan Love can't throw that interception. He can't do it.
No blank.
Right,
yeah.
Which feels self-evident to me.
Yeah.
But, again, once we start to criticize Jordan Love, who, by the way, said himself he can't throw that interception. He's got to see that guy. And he didn't. But suddenly that it means, we think Jordan Love sucks. I don't know this subset of Packers fans who think he is so fragile that he can't be criticized for a play in a clutch. And then, he led a comeback drive to get him in field goal range.
Yeah.
Well, he got a 20-yard pass interference penalty and an 18-yard completion to Tucker Kraft. He was not John Elway against the Browns in that AFC Championship game starting at like the 2-yard line. So, again, we have to be able to realistically look at a defeat like this and say the season is not over, all is not lost. But if we're going to put Jordan Love in the MVP conversation, an MVP candidate cannot make that mistake in that moment of the game.
Jason.
Period.
Agree. I'll point to my shirt.
So it doesn't mean we think he sucks. Now, what does suck is losing a game that you have no business losing. And your defense, once again, plays plenty well for you. And Matt LaFleur has to get up there afterward and say, I thought we played well enough to win defensively, but our offensively and our special teams were not good enough. Yeah, no blank.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty obvious.
Today, feel your feelings on this.
Yes.
Go right ahead. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and Text
Jason,
line.
This was the big debate, and I know you are on social media, got a lot of great views with on that clip.
Yeah.
Homer and I do my opening statement, and I'm getting after Matt LaFleur. And I'm also after Jordan Love and Rich Bisaccia because I look at that triumvirate yesterday as why they lost that football game.
Mm-hmm.
So he cuts me off, which is fine, and said, what do you mean it's Jordan Love? And I said, hold up a second. And this is the part when I say grow up and start maturing as a coaching staff and as a quarterback and
Homer
as a whatever.
A radio host.
Well, Homer is going to be Homer. Homer's point was you can't make that throw. I totally agree. But you understand. You have to understand what is it going to take to win this game, not throughout the season. And I know the point is now you have to be more aggressive when you're playing because it's easier to score. And teams with good offenses, if you give them the football back, they're probably going to go down and score. They got 4 downs. They have nothing to lose. But let me ask you, how many times yesterday did you feel that Joe Flacco, when they were going to only be able to throw the football because they're going to be out of timeouts, run the ball, if you don't get the first down, punt it, your punter's hammering it, and say, do you think Cleveland's going to score a touchdown, a 75 or 80-yard drive? Because I certainly didn't, and I guarantee you our defense did. This is a defensive-led football team. That is the strength of your team, especially at this point in the season. So what are you doing putting the ball in? I know everybody is Jordan Love. You got to trust him. And that's another conversation for another time. Yesterday's game dictated run the ball, punt, play defense, win, and then figure out what the heck is wrong with your offense against a horrific defense next week before a bye. That's what your team needed yesterday. They didn't do it. So Matt LaFleur deserves – I'm always going to say players are the ones that make the difference. They always do. But coaches put players in positions to win, and yesterday Matt LaFleur at the end of that game didn't. And by the way, I think he probably didn't want to take all the blame on it. He did, and I admire that in his post-game presser. And Jordan can't make that throw, but if Matt LaFleur hands that ball off and you tick on the clock, Green Bay wins that game yesterday. Period, fin. They didn't, and that goes directly back to Matt LaFleur. That was my point. Homer, I think I eventually swayed him into believing that point.
I can tell you that because the clip that we're talking about that is on the ESPN Milwaukee Twitter feed is me responding to him arguing that. And my point was, once you've decided to throw the football there, he can't make that mistake. But
agree.
The way it starts is my argument back to him, and it sounds like I'm blaming Love. But he, and as it turns out, he just plagiarized your take, because that's what he was arguing to me, was that it's Matt LaFleur's fault for not running the ball on 3rd and 3 there. And they're going against the best run defense in the league. They have not run the ball. Well, what did Josh Jacobs finish with yesterday?
30-some yards. It was like almost, I think, around 2 yards a carry. Not even.
I mean, he had more yardage on his one catch, I think, than he had. He had 16 carries for 30 yards.
Yeah, it
an
was
average
a bad day.
of 1.9 yards per rush.
Yeah.
So based on that average, they were not going to get the first down if they handed it off on 3rd and 3. To your point, that is exactly the mentality that has now become all these guys from the Shanahan-McVay tree. We're not just going to run into the line. We're going to have a design.
Try to win the game.
That's effective. We're going to take the game and win it. Your point is a very valid one. And I told Homer that during our argument. But that doesn't excuse Love from throwing a bad pick at the worst possible time.
I agree. But he shouldn't have thrown the ball. So it's a chicken and egg deal here.
Correct.
Like,
anyway.
Every game. So I guess, Jason, my point is, if you're playing Detroit, if you're playing Washington, if you're playing a team that you feel like, if you're playing Buffalo, you give the ball back to Josh Allen. I don't care how good your defense is. I'm worried. Or Pat Mahomes. There are games that you look at it, and I agree with LaFleur's aggressiveness. I want coaches to be aggressive, but what I want them to be is understanding of what do I need to do to win this game.
Yep.
And this game was don't turn the ball over, and if you make Cleveland go the length of the field, they proved they couldn't do it.
Correct.
And they weren't going to do it yesterday. And we let them off the hook. I don't know if we got Denny Green's sound up, but we let them off the blanking hook. Cleveland is who we thought they were. We thought, didn't any of us that predicted this game thought this can be a low-scoring slug? And Cleveland ain't going to be able to score. And they couldn't. We gift-wrapped them everything they got yesterday. Gift-wrapped them.